You are listening to the William Gomes Podcast. I am William Gomes, and I am grateful to have you here. Today, I want to talk about something that often sits quietly in the background of conversations about autism, yet shapes almost everything we believe about it. I want to talk about how psychologists build theories. When we hear a statement about autism, whether it is about social understanding, communication, flexibility, or sensory processing, that statement usually comes from a theory. Theories guide research, they guide diagnosis, they shape support, and they influence public understanding in powerful ways. But theories are not final answers. They are ways of trying to explain something complex. They are tools that help us make sense of patterns in behavior, in brain development, and in lived experience. So in this episode, I want to explore how theories are created, why they sometimes change, and why no single theory can fully explain autism on its own. The first thing to understand is that a theory begins with observation. Researchers notice patterns in how autistic people behave, communicate, or process information. They look for common threads and try to understand what might link those threads beneath the surface. For example, a psychologist might notice that many autistic children find it difficult to shift attention from one activity to another. That observation becomes a starting point for further questions. What cognitive process might explain this? What developmental path leads to this pattern? The next step is to gather evidence. Researchers design studies that help them test their questions. They look at how children respond to tasks, how they interpret social cues, how they manage emotions, or how they learn. They also study brain activity, sensory responses, and language patterns. With each piece of evidence, the theory becomes clearer or needs to be revised. A good theory tries to explain as much as possible with as little confusion as possible. It should make sense of known facts. It should match real-world experience. And importantly, it should be open to change when new evidence comes along. Theories that stay rigid become outdated. Autism research is full of examples where early theories had to be replaced because they did not fit what autistic people were telling us about their experience. Sometimes theories seem to disagree with one another. One might suggest that social understanding is the core of autism. Another might focus on sensory processing. Another might highlight flexibility or prediction. At first, this can sound like conflict, but in reality, these theories often describe different parts of the same picture. Autism is too complex to be captured by one explanation, so psychologists approach it from many angles to build a fuller understanding. Another important aspect of theory building is development. Autism is not something that suddenly appears. It unfolds over time. So a strong theory must explain not just what autism looks like now, but how early differences in attention, perception, or processing lead to later patterns in behavior. Developmental pathways allow researchers to trace these links. They help us understand why two autistic people might share some similarities yet have very different profiles. One challenge in building theories is that autistic people are not all the same. Their strengths, challenges, communication styles, and sensory experiences vary widely. This means that theories must account for diversity. They cannot assume that one explanation fits everyone. Modern autism research recognizes this. It increasingly focuses on variation, not uniformity. Another shift in the way theories are built comes from listening to autistic voices. In the past, theories were often created without input from autistic people themselves. Today, many psychologists recognize that lived experience must shape theory. Autistic people offer insights that no study can capture by itself. Insights about masking, burnout, overload, identity, and relationships. These perspectives add depth and honesty to the scientific picture. As we move further into this series, we will explore many of the theories that have shaped our understanding of autism. Some offer powerful explanations, others highlight important but incomplete ideas. All of them help us understand different layers of autistic experience, and when we look at them together, we begin to see a more complete picture, one that reflects the richness, the diversity, and the humanity of autistic lives. Theories matter because they influence the world beyond research. They shape how teachers respond to autistic children. They shape how therapists design support. They shape the assumptions people make. So, when our theories become more compassionate, more accurate, and more deeply informed by autistic voices, the world becomes a safer place for autistic people. Thank you for listening. This is the William Gomes Podcast. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and I will speak with you again soon.